Hello again, everybody. It's time for another journey. Today, we're going to check out the stuff that's right across the street from the Point Park battlefield. It's where the Battles for Chattanooga, previously known as Confederama, has moved to. It's also a gift shop. It's also a little picnic area. And it's also the visitor center for Point Park. So come on, guys, let's go take a look. We'll check some stuff out, have a little bit of fun, and pick up a little bit of history. They have a lot of cannons in and around the park. Since these are right outside the park, it's interesting to see how things go. One interesting little tidbit, local ice cream company also runs ice cream out of here, but only for the summer season. As you can see, they are closed for the season. So you've got a 6-pounder and a Napoleon right outside. The Battles for Chattanooga, formerly known as the Confederama. Used to be down in St. Elmo. These days, Confederama was a little offensive, so they had to change the name. Here's the inside of the gift store. As you can see, this is what's left over after they cut it down from when it was the Confederama. While I am disappointed that you can't walk around it anymore, it still tells a great story and gives people a very specific view of how things happened when the Civil War battles happened.
Supplying the Southern troops with ammunition, food, and clothing. As Union General William Rosecrans' Army of the Cumberland suddenly advances on the town, its defenders withdraw. He focuses on Brown's Ferry, 9 miles downstream from Chattanooga. At 3 a.m. on October 27th, under the light of a full moon, 1,150 select troops clamber aboard their untested craft and shove off into the turbulent currents of the rain-swollen Tennessee River. They dare not paddle. Silently drifting with the current, they cling as best they can to the north bank. Pockets of fog help to conceal their passage. Speaking only when necessary, in guarded whispers, they pass unnoticed by the Confederates on the south bank of the river. At 5 a.m., Union signal fires alert the men in the boats to their landing point on the opposite bank. Pushing across the river, the raiding party gets to within 10 feet of shore before the first shots are fired by Confederate pickets. Outnumbered, the rebels fight briefly before conceding the ferry to the Yankees. The unfortified Union position at Wauhatchie. An intense struggle begins. The fighting is at close quarters and deadly. It is an attack. The fight is intense but brief. The maneuver of Union soldiers sweep north across the slope of the fog-shrouded mountain. At 9 a.m., Hooker's men make contact with the enemy. As shots ring out, Union artillery at Moccasin Bend supports the assault. Suddenly, hundreds of Union soldiers burst from the woods into the clearing around the house, shouting battle cries and firing muskets. Union artillery shells add to the havoc, noise, and the base about halfway up and at the crest. Here, he will make his stand. North of Chattanooga, the boats are launched, and a landing party crosses the Tennessee River, establishing a beachhead on the south bank. Confidence that Sherman and his battle-hardened veterans of the Western campaigns will succeed, Ulysses S. Grant orders them to begin their assault on the 25th from their position. Rolls across the Tennessee hills as cannon and muskets duel. Crescent across the plain, moving determinedly toward the southern positions a mile away. From atop Missionary Ridge, 50 Confederate cannon open fire on the Federals. Union artillery blaze in response, fighting for pride and survival. Shouts of "Chickamauga! Chickamauga!" spur their determined frenzy to reach the top. From Orchard Knob, crest of the ridge, as young MacArthur collapses in exhaustion. The Confederates, positioned behind breastworks at the top of the ridge, are dazed by the sudden appearance of the Yankees. They fire, but with no time to reload, they are rapidly overrun. Southern artillerymen attempt to retreat with their cannon, but several guns are captured when Federal marksmen shoot their lead horses. Some gunners are forced at bayonet point to turn their cannon against their retreating comrades. The withdrawal becomes a panic-stricken rout, while the Yankees, crazed with joy, celebrate in the former Confederate positions.
On the way out of the Battles for Chattanooga, they have a little mini museum. You can actually see true letters. You can actually see real hardware. As you can see, the visitor center is right across the street from the entrance. Interesting painting in here too. Let's go take a look at it, shall we? You can see that there's a little gift shop that they have too, but it's all Civil War oriented, and they also try to focus on just here.
Confederate General Braxton Bragg. Bragg's army retreats into Georgia. The campaign for Chattanooga has ended. Commander of all Union armies in the spring of 1864. Union General William T. Sherman, with Chattanooga as his base, drives south through Georgia, leaving havoc in his wake. Although the war would continue for more than a year after the campaign for Chattanooga ended, the path to ultimate victory by the Federal Army and restoration of the Union are now firmly established.
And that's what they call the battle up on Lookout Mountain. So an interesting little story. This painting that you're about to see was commissioned, and the gentleman that actually did it was there at the battle and did sketches. The painting was commissioned, it was painted, it was beautiful. Then for some reason it ended up rolled up in somebody's barn. Over 10 or 12 years ago, probably further back than that, it was discovered, partially restored, and they've redone the visitor center to handle this. What's sad is this is what was rolled up and put in a barn. Depicts the battle above the clouds and the battle that went on at the foot of Lookout Mountain. This painting is huge. A lot of love went into it, and it's sad to see that it was thrown in a barn. So, great little story.
Before you is the painting, The Battle Above the Clouds. Military artist James Walker was commissioned by General Joseph Hooker to paint this battle scene depicting Hooker as a great military leader. Riding alongside commanding officers, Walker sketched the combat as it unfolded. After the battle, he returned to the site to paint detailed sketches. To distract Confederate attention from the troops that were preparing a sweep of the mountainside, Hooker led his Union soldiers in a demonstration immediately prior to the Battle of Lookout Mountain. Witnessing this massing of troops, a Confederate soldier reported,
"Just at dawn, I saw several batteries being moved out near the creek, as if threatening to attempt a crossing in our front. The enemy moved up the creek and crossed at its source. Our whole brigade only numbered about 1,500 men, while the whole of Hooker's corps was rapidly advancing upon us." Confederate Colonel William F. Dowd, 24th Mississippi Volunteer Infantry.
Hooker is shown in the center of the painting, sitting atop a white horse, directing artillery fire on Confederate emplacements at the base of Lookout Mountain. During the day, fog on the slope of the mountain hid the fighting from those below, giving rise to the name, the Battle Above the Clouds. Here's fighting, Confederate troops retreated after dark, and troops under Hooker's command took the top of Lookout Mountain the next morning without opposition, and later contributed to the overall Union success at Missionary Ridge.
Here's the nice picnic area. It is right there. And like I said, it is literally right across the street from Point Park. Well, hope you enjoyed that little journey today. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, make some journeys of your own. It appears to be stairs to nowhere.